for another installment, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are.
Because we are global now.
We are worldwide.
Worldwide, wide.
What is it from Step Brothers?
Prestige
worldwide, wide.
This is Motivate You. We're here to discuss your business and really how to take your practice to that next level.
Mm-hmm. All things incorporated.
I couldn't be more excited about this. I love this show. This is actually kind of a fun way to end. I love it. This is kind of a fun way to end the week, though.
Yeah, we always have a good time, and I hope we provide some value and some good information to everybody. If not, me and you keep on laughing. So, that's normal. We just laugh at ourselves.
So basically just self-entertaining ourselves, which is good.
Hey, if someone else gets something out of it, even if it's one individual, I am happy with that. We're spreading, hopefully spreading some good positivity in this crazy, crazy world of ours.
I just thought we have to do this earlier next week. We won't be able to do it Friday because we have advisors coming in for some training.
Correct.
So we're excited about that. For those of you that might be interested in that, make sure you always let us know. You can always just reach out to us at motivateadvisors.com. That's MOTIV, the number 8 advisors.com. Love to see you guys all come out. You mentioned bringing value. And that's really what I want to talk about today on the podcast is basically setting that business up for success and some of the steps that you should take and reasons why. And it brings me back to my first year in the industry. And my first year in the industry, I was fortunate to have a really fantastic mentor, great guy, looked out for me, my family, and really helped me kind of get started in this business and taught me an incredible amount. This guy is to the point where he could be 3 or 4 states away. And if his tire was flat and he needed me to come change it, I would do it.
Right.
I just owe him that much.
Yeah.
Now, if he was 5 or 6 states away,
that one would be debatable. You'd make a phone call to get someone else out there at the least,
and
right?
I go back to sleep. Yeah. No, he's a great guy. And so I was fortunate enough to go on a trip with him, mainly because his son was unable to make that trip. And so I went on this trip with him and a bunch of other top producers. Mm-hmm. And at this point in my career, I was the furthest thing from the top of a top producer. If you look at a totem pole, I was the one underneath the ground.
Gotcha. You were the one kind of holding the base, not really stacked in anywhere.
It's getting dirty. There's, just so you know, the dog is underneath your chair.
I will not roll on her head.
She dies.
I'll be very careful.
I have some guests in the office today. So anyway, but I specifically remember we'd go out fishing. It was a great time. Got to talk to a lot of people. But one night we sat around a campfire and we just talked about work. We talked about things that were occurring, objections, strategies, how to overcome objections, how to present strategies, conceptualized type of planning, and really kind of went through a lot of different ways that we could, basically go out there and really help change people's businesses. But one of the big things that came out, and after that time period, I had my incredible 6 months. My 6 months was better than most people's year. And I really attributed a lot of it to being surrounded by the top producers out there. And one thing that came out though was the goal planning aspect of things.
Sure.
And setting your business up for success and doing things on purpose rather than by accident. It's not just something that we should talk to our clients about.
No.
It's something that it's a way that we should be running our business and our practices.
Well, and I have that conversation often when I'm talking to advisors outside of the Motivate world. And I ask them, when have you done a business plan? What are your goals for this year? And there are a lot of people that don't know their goals and really have never put a business plan together. I was talking to a gentleman who's been in the business for about 30 years. And he said, yeah, I did it once about 20 years ago. And
nothing in this business has changed in 20 years, right?
Yeah.
This business is exactly the same.
So totally the same. And I always circle back to, I said that. I always go back to the statement of,
took me a second. Let's circle back.
A good advisor always has a plan for their client. You start with a plan. Right. You should not be doing anything until you have a plan and your objection of where you want to go. A business has to be the exact same. And a lot of people just don't take the time to do that.
And there's plenty of reasons why. I think a lot of it comes down to emotion. I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we're nervous to put a benchmark out there. We're nervous to hit those goals because the whole what if. Yeah. Right. And I had a great buddy of mine. He was absolutely brilliant in high school. He was literally certified as a genius. I don't know if they certify.
I was going to ask, is it like a stamp genius?
he had a plaque, genius plaque. No, but he got tested for his IQ and it came out to be a genius level. But his whole premise was, don't try. That was his life.
Like deal. His MO was don't try.
His whole point was if I don't try and I succeed, look how
Then
amazing
you're
I am,
winning.
right? Look how amazing I am. I didn't even try.
Yeah.
But in the flip side, if you fail, you can sit back and say, hey, I failed, but you know what?
I didn't really try.
I didn't try. So that was his whole MO. Terrible
Interesting.
way of going about it. But that happens a lot in this industry. When you're looking around and you're at these different organizational events and you're sitting around and people are talking about how they're the top producers, you can let her in if you want. No, she just left. When you dogs whining at the door. But when you sit down, you're talking to all these top producers about what they're doing. The difference is they're systematic with it.
Yes.
They do it on purpose. They don't just hope that crap works
or wing it.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues. And so I want to kind of go through top 10 reasons why we talk to people about setting goals. We'll go through it and I'm sure we'll elaborate a little bit on it. But if you're a type of producer that wants to take your practice to the next level, oftentimes it's getting rid of the distractions and focusing on the one thing. Okay. The one thing that needs to be different within your firm to get you to where you want to go. So number one, goals will clarify your vision. What is your vision? Have you ever sat down and just said, where do I want my practice to be in 5 years?
And look outside of something besides your production and your premium as well, which is very important.
Especially if you're looking for that.
Do you want
life work.
staff members? Do you want to own a building? You know, do you want to build a team? Do you want other advisors under you? What does the whole entire picture look like?
Do you want to be on vacation?
Yeah.
Do you want to own a boat?
Do you want to work 4 days a week?
What do you want? So it's really important to look at that vision. And like you said, not just from a sales standpoint, but what's your life look like? Are you happy? Because I know people out there that have tons of money that are miserable, miserable human beings. So without those goals, it's really easy to be unproductive because you really have no end point. You have no end game.
That driving factor.
And I spoke to one of our top producers today, great guy. And he was saying, you know, Mike, I became an investment advisor because I knew that was going to be one of the quickest ways I could become a business owner and then expand my business ownership into different areas.
Yeah, which he has done.
And he's done amazing well. And his whole thing now is how do I do it as quickly as possible? And I'm telling you right now, he has a vision of exactly what he wants. Some people have him on a vision board. Some people put him down on paper, but you need to know where you're going to go. And then to make it even more efficient, you need to let people know so that they can help you get there. So if you have staff and you have, and I've done this, guys, I'm telling you some of the mistakes that I've made. I sat down with Cassie before and said, where do you think Motivate should be in 5 years? Or where do you think I want it to be? Right? People can't read our minds. And so let's clarify those visions, get those goals set up and make sure you get yourself to that place. Now, what's cool also about goals would be number two.
Yeah. So really they keep you focused. Yeah. So if you know what that ultimate end game is, then you can really discern your driving factors to get you there.
What are we talking about again?
Goals.
I'm joking.
Keeping you focused.
There it is.
Yeah. Squirrel.
It's hard enough. So, I mean, one of my biggest characteristic flaws, but also bonuses, I guess. It's one of the best and worst things about me. And that's not ego. That's what you say all the time. No, one of the best things, the worst things about me is I can come in every single Monday with about 25 new ideas, right? If you give me enough time to sit and think about this, I'll come in with ideas. And I think being that you and I have worked together now for almost a decade, I mean, that's probably pretty exciting, but also pretty frustrating, maybe more leaning on the frustrating side.
Well, it depends. I think once we kind of found that balance of you come in with all these ideas and I'm able to say yes, no later. But we focus in on our three that we want. A lot of times we tell our advisors, pick the 3 things that you want to do right now. If you have 10 things that you need to do, we know multitasking really doesn't work. If you have your 3, and then once you finish 1.5, go ahead and add another one, but really stay focused on those things in front of you right now.
Yeah,
it's eating the frog too.
Well, exactly. And what I've had to learn myself is that distractions really actually prevent you from achieving the most important thing. If you achieve the most important thing, the byproduct of that is other things will be achieved, right? Other things will just start to fall into place because you did what needed to be done in the first place. And so it's a stepping stone. But again, that's basically coming from that vision we initially talked about.
Right.
The third one's a really important one. And we've found this because part of our yearly and annual meeting is we set goals. It's part of our Friday point, or it's basically like a 6-hour portion of our meeting where we sit down and say,
we usually wrap up with a whole entire thing of goals.
Here's what you're going into for this next coming year. And I'm telling you, there's certain advisors that jump all over this and take it very seriously. And then there's other ones that don't. And the frustrating part is the ones that don't are the ones that come back and say stuff didn't work for that year. Okay. So what we actually started doing now is we created a program called Elevate You within Motivate. And we are starting to have advisors come down to our office to do exactly what we're talking about right now, because it has to be more than just saying set goals. Sometimes we don't know how to do it. It can be very overwhelming.
It can be.
But it comes down to accountability. So if people come into my office and we've had that expectation versus what's the word? Desire versus expectations.
Now you're making me have a brain fart.
Uh,
It's expectations and accountability.
yeah. I mean,
These are the expectations. This is what you need to do to get there. Responsibility,
I don't know,
expectations.
but you get the point.
It's Friday.
Goals make you accountable to yourself. And one of the hardest things you can ever do is stare at yourself in a mirror for 60 seconds and determine whether or not you like what you're looking at. Right. Because the truth of the matter, it's like when you go to CrossFit, it's like when you go to the gym. You know, you and I were watching that guy on TikTok the other day. There's a guy on TikTok. He's a big old guy, but
He's jacked.
And the dude does not mince words.
Not at all.
There's more F-bombs in there than you could ever imagine. But he says one of the biggest mistakes he sees that people make at the gym, and he owns a gym and he's been there. He says, I spent 16 hours a day at this gym. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they don't work hard. They go in and they like lift the weights. Like, yeah, I did 8 reps.
Yeah. They're doing 5-10 pounds and 8 reps, but they're not actually pushing their muscles to be better.
He says the guy who sounds like he's about to give birth or potentially foul himself, that's the one that's actually making progress. They're putting themselves in a position where they're taking those chances, they're doing the work, they're putting it in there. So once you set goals, you've got to be able to look at those things and say, hey, am I on track or I'm not? Now, here's the thing. Missing a goal is not always the end of the world. No. Sometimes what you realize, and I've done this, when I've sat down every single 90 days like I do, when I set a goal, if after 3 or 4 quarters, that goal still, or that desire or that task still sits there, and I haven't done it yet, then I have to actually really reevaluate and say, is this really that damn important? Should this actually even be on my list of stuff that needs to be done?
Or figure out why it hasn't been done.
Or am I just putting this on here to save face in front of other people? I mean, you have to be honest with yourself. And that's part of the problem with goals. When we talk to advisors and they're saying, well, no, I don't want to set goals. It's because they don't want to have to be held accountable. If you come down, you sit down with me, we find out what your accountability is, what your expectations are, and then we're going to hold you accountable because you deserve that. And so do your clients.
Yeah. And that's the only way you're really going to be able to track your progress. And that kind of gets us to the next one.
That was a great transition.
Is you have to provide built-in benchmarks as you go. The ultimate goal, some of them might be a week, a month, 5 years. You know, there's always going to be different timelines within that goal. And if you're setting up benchmarks, that's smaller goals that you achieve. So you know that you're getting it done. It might even bring you a little bit more motivation if you're having success within it. You know, that builds that drive. Hey, I'm doing a really good job. I'm halfway there. Let's keep on cranking.
And then there's also going to be benchmarks for where you are in your business. So one thing that, you know, we had one of our team members that we work with said, make sure you are where you are. It's okay to be where you are right now.
Yeah.
If you desire something bigger, that's great. But those benchmarks need to be reasonable. I mean, if you're coming in and you do $1 million of annuity production per year and you don't have a 65 and you've never written a life insurance policy your entire life, to become a $40 million annuity producer that has $100 million under management and is killing it with $2 million a target, it's probably not going to happen in a 12-month cycle. So setting expectations that make sense are going to be important because what it is, it's a building block. You know, I was thinking today, you know, we have brought so much money under management this year. And the conversations that I have with my clients are different now. And the part of the reason is just, I know more now. I'm better versed in it. I've done it. I understand it more. I've been through different cycles. And so I know how to have the conversation with people. So those things will just happen. So you want to make sure that just allow yourself to be where you are, build in the proper benchmarks, and then set it. Now,
and track them as well.
Got to track.
It's very easy to set goals, set benchmarks, but if you're not tracking it, you really don't know how you're progressing. You know, we always kind of say you got to be able to steer the ship before you hit the iceberg. And that's something that benchmarks can help you do as well.
Yeah. Well, and when you look at it, it's a motivator, right? So that's the number 5 one. When you look at motivation, why do you think Orange Theory works? Orange Theory, the fitness place.
Oh yeah. It's more of like
it's like a competition,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
They have your information on screens in front of everybody.
Oh,
right. Well, why do you think CrossFit works?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a competition.
Yeah, seeing your name up there, and if you were a high or low, that definitely pushed you for the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. So these goals can be motivators. They're things that can help build upon it. And then when you start seeing it come to fruition, the stuff that's working. Like we see that with Derek all the time in Texas. And I'd love to be able to get Derek on one of these podcasts. Maybe we should get him on next week or something. But, to talk to him about it's not, his incremental success hasn't been incremental at all. It's been pretty significant as far as his growth and the things he's doing. Same thing with Elliot by growing their practices and doing those things. I mean, it's pretty amazing what they're able to see. And then what happens, it just starts compounding.
Right.
That energy comes up and it just keeps compounding. It almost becomes like this fuel for you to do more and become more and more successful. And every time you do it, it becomes easier.
Well, and you're always pushing yourself a little bit more too. And with each time that you have something successful, you reach that goal, it builds your confidence internally as well. So you're maybe not as apprehensive to try something new, or to branch out into a different sector of your business to kind of help build upon it.
Especially if it's someone that's able to kind of mentor you like we do.
Yeah.
Where we sit down, we teach the sales processes, we teach the marketing processes. What we try to do is take that learning curve out of it here at Motivate as much as we possibly can. So you're not making mistakes, the same ones that I made that I call expensive lessons. We want to protect you from that.
Yeah.
So
we definitely always try it out, beta test it, see if it's working, what's not working. And then that's when we bring it out to the advisors.
And then document.
Yeah. So really goals enable you to document your progress. And that kind of goes along with the benchmark as well. You can have a regular mental checklist, but really you want to write things down. And that kind of goes back to a vision board or just, tracking your goals somewhere, setting the outlines, and then really striving to attain these different goals and see the progress that you're putting forward as you do it.
Well, and the thing with doing this is it's very honest. So I bought a fitness machine called a Tonal. And for any of you that likes gadgets and kind of geeks out on gadgets, but also wants to take care of yourself, check out the Tonal, Tonal. Make sure you let me know.
You got a plug for that?
I'll get you the code so I get the $50 credit. And you get $100 off.
Anyway, there you
go. No, it's a phenomenal. It's all artificial intelligence and it tracks your progress. So if I'm ever sitting back and I look at myself and say, "Hey, Mike, side profile's not looking awesome. Your belly is quite round."
Do you say that to yourself often? Hey, Mike.
Hey, this isn't about me today. This isn't about me. Remember, I told you I look in the mirror
Shocker.
for 60 seconds. And do you like what you see? Oftentimes I can't make it a full 60 with the belly. But no, if I look at it, I can see, did I work out enough this month? Right? I mean, what did I eat?
It's in your face.
I track my food. I track my exercise. I track the fitness. I track how much I sleep. I track all of those things because I want to make sure that I'm giving myself the best chance to be as successful as I want to, but also enjoy the hell out of it.
Right.
I love this stuff. I love what we're doing now. I love the office. I love the people that I get to work with. I feel so fortunate and blessed to have all the advisors that we do. And those are all great things. Does it come with stress? For sure.
Of course.
But there's great benchmarks that make me realize that it's all worth it. And, I remember one of my bosses told me one time, he said, "Mike, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it."
Yeah, I think that's everything in life.
Yeah, it's if it's easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
It allows you then, once you look at these benchmarks, to understand where your strengths and your weaknesses are. So going kind of back to the Tonal, I have a weakness more in my core than I do in my arms. It tells you strength scores for both sides. My arms are doing pretty well. The belly needs a little bit of work. The legs are on their way.
Yeah.
But it tells you where those weaknesses are so you can try to be more well-rounded. On the flip side,
rounded, pun intended.
That one stung a little bit there. Well, but on the flip side, if I suck at something, and I promise I suck at paperwork, I'm so bad at it. We just brought Nancy on as a team and she's like, "Yeah, you're making this harder than it needs to be." Because I tried to do paperwork on a couple of different cases while we were waiting for her to start here. And, if you have weaknesses that are going to delay the actual growth of your business, then let's find those out and let's plug the hole with the right person. Let's fill it up with the right person. So you can go out and do what's best. That's what's going to start showing you maybe where some of those issues are. But again, if you never keep track of it, you're never going to know.
Yeah. And you kind of mentioned earlier, when you're able to better serve your clients now because you've educated yourself. And a lot of that may have been from learning from your mistakes and your weaknesses,
which can be expensive.
It can be, but when you recognize those mistakes, when you recognize those weaknesses, it gives you the opportunity to build upon them and make them better. And that's, good for your confidence. It builds different opportunities. Maybe it teaches you a lesson, a different direction that you can go, so look at these mistakes or weaknesses as a building block, is, something we can learn and use in life, not necessarily like, man, that sucked, now I'm screwed.
And it can help you achieve your potential, which was number 8. Nailed that one. You weren't even looking at it.
I actually didn't even look at number 8.
I know.
So,
but it does work. I mean, it's all about potential.
Mhm.
And, you know, I see a lot of advisors out there. And I remember The Bronx Tale. Remember that movie?
yeah, great
Where he
movie.
said there's nothing worse than wasted talent or wasted
Yes.
potential.
Mhm.
I see that with advisors a lot because
Yeah.
they don't have some of these basic business structures and fundamentals set up right, and they miss their potential. They've got so much potential, so much ability to go out and make the world better. But without these other things set up properly, they just spin.
Yeah, because they're never going to have the opportunity to get in front of the people and help them if they don't have the foundation built on how to do so.
Yep.
And that kind of goes back to the million ideas thing. Yes, it's great to have all these ideas, but if you're not able to implement them in a strategic way, you're not getting nothing done.
Just a distraction. So
Mhm.
when you do all this, though, you can move into number 9, which is improving your approach. Now, some people, when you look at improving your approach, one thing that we say all the time within Motivate is it's time to stop selling and to start consulting.
Mhm.
Okay. When you have an approach and you have the confidence because you know the data behind it, and we always talk about courage, confidence, and capabilities. It takes guts to do this business. It takes guts to put yourself out there. It takes guts to own your own business. And so what happens is sometimes when it takes guts, it can also be really, really, really scary when
Mhm.
things are tight. Once you know the data and once you have that confidence and courage behind you and your capabilities are on fire, your approach can be different, and it will be different, because here's what I can tell you right now. Your clients have the ability to sense desperation.
Oh, yeah. If you're going in just to make a sale because you're worried about making payroll the next week, they most definitely can tell that you are focused on something that may not be their best interest, and not in a malicious way, but it's just human nature.
It's a tough thing, man. So you want to be able to put yourself in a place where your approach can be based upon what's best for the client, not necessarily the fact that you have a mortgage due in 2 weeks or that you have payroll due.
And you just need to sling something to get some revenue in.
That's how people end up in trouble.
Right.
That's how people end up doing the wrong thing, even though they know it. Those are things you want to avoid. By setting these goals, you can put those parameters up where you say, no, I'm not going to be that individual. I'm not going to be that person because I have a better approach than that. Okay.
Yeah. I was just going to say, one of our advisors, so he's been here for a few months, but he emailed me the other day and he was letting me know that he used the sales process, that, it always takes him a little bit to get used to it and try it. It's something new. So like you said, anytime you're trying something new, you're going to question it. Did you do it right? And he let me know the client told him that no one has ever gone through anything like that, anything like a process, explain to them in depth what was going on, why they do things, asking the questions that they asked. And they had been with, 3 or 4 advisors previously. And he just emailed me to say, thank you for teaching me this process. I did the whole entire thing and they were blown away with it.
So kudos to him or
Yeah.
her. I don't know who it is, but kudos to him or her. But what a shame, huh? I
What
mean,
do you
what do you think?
A shame how?
They've been through 3 or 4 other advisors. They didn't ask those questions. So look
right.
how
Foundational questions.
Well, that's how broken this system is, right?
Sure.
That's what we're trying to fix. That's what this podcast is about. How to elevate people and take their practices to that next place. And man, you think about this person had probably more than likely been investing for decades.
Yeah.
And never had those questions asked. That's really a shame.
Right.
It's great that our advisors are doing it.
Yeah, of course.
And it's great that we can teach it, and it's something to really be proud of. But man, it's a bummer for that person.
Yeah, it's a scary thing for the public that they're going through this and nobody's taking the time really to find their goals and what they want to achieve. And then secondly, more importantly, actually help them do it.
Well, and so this brings us to number 10, becoming more resilient. I've been broke. Not a fun thing to talk about, but I've been broke. I was broke and I couldn't feed my family and I couldn't pay for mortgages. And it was really, really, really bad. And part of the reason why was I was a one trick pony, if you will. That was back when I was in the mortgage industry. And once that dried up, once banks started to fail, once everything changed, my whole practice hit the fan, right? Everything was just in terrible, terrible shape. I was not able to recession proof or put myself in a position to be resilient. As time went on, I became the annuity guy. Great annuity guy, sold a ton of annuities, really helped out a lot of people with their safe money, but had a pretty significant amount of attrition with my business because I wasn't the trusted advisor. I was the insurance slinger.
Yeah.
Is how people
You were
looked
the
at me,
salesperson.
right? And then we started seeing that industry change.
Mhm.
And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm putting myself right back in the same spot to be crushed.
Right. Relying on that
realized,
one thing.
Yeah, I had to find more things. I had to open up the revenue streams, offer different things to my clients to really put myself in a position where I could do everything possible. No, there's no such thing that's going to make it 100%, but I wanted to recession proof my business. That was one of my biggest goals. And then last year we had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this whole thing come to fruition again. Having a residual revenue stream, whether it come from your med sup programs, your AUM, however you've structured it, that helped a lot of people get through last year.
Yeah,
with
most
a whole
definitely.
different level of stress than people who had to sit down with people who only used one strategy for seminars or whatever to get in front of people, and that was taken away from them. All of those different things. Having a plan and knowing that there can be bad things that happen to good people.
There's always going to be bad things. Unfortunately, that's just life.
It puts you in a place where you can be resilient, though.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can be resilient, guess who comes out on top? You do.
Yeah.
You do. When the fog clears and we end up in a situation like we are right now, I'm having one of my best years of my entire career.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it all goes back full circle. I mean, we're going to take everything that we've learned and experienced within this past year and move it forward to better ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, so if someone did run into that, they were a one-trick pony, they were a one-trick marketing. Hopefully they've learned that lesson, adjusted, and decided to take that knowledge, take that pain, and really move forward and do something good with it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. These are 10 different reasons to set up goals. The reality is just focus on one thing, set up your goals. The rest of these 10 things are just reasons why. The number one thing you need to take from today is sit down and set up a goal structure and a business strategy for your business and for your life, your personal life. Set it up and then allow yourself to focus on it. These 10 things we just went through, they're all byproducts, but they can also
and they
be
all happen within it when you actually set up your
absolutely
goal.
It's not as difficult as we're trying to make it sound. It's really a liberating type of scenario, but I'm telling you right now, it's a game changer. When you look at the top people out there, you look at your Elon Musk. So, I mean, he's not walking around being like, yeah, an electric car would be cool. Hopefully we can do that someday.
Yeah, he's building a plan on how to do it.
It'd be pretty cool if we could take a spaceship to outer space. That'd be cool.
His wife did just get the alien tattoos. She wants to. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, she got a whole bunch of like white tattoos, and she called it the alien something. And they were saying it's because
they probably
she's
know
really
stuff.
An alien.
Well, they probably know stuff. You've been into that whole alien thing lately.
I know they keep popping up in the news, all the UFO sightings.
Yeah,
it's coming. But no, I agree. The goals are imperative for your personal life and your business.
Sorry.
They're only going to help you move forward.
That was the alien one I was looking for.
It's birds.
No, then we're outside looking at the sky and well, you saw that they talked about the triangle one that the Air Force, the military actually confirmed that it was legit.
That it is they're not saying that it's alien, but it is definitely an unidentified.
They don't know what it was,
object.
but it was a real life triangle looking thing.
Yes, that was hovering in high winds and then took off at like this insane speed.
Yeah.
We are not alone.
Let's go back to goal setting. Let's focus on that. So folks, if you guys need help with this, give us a call at any given time. You can always reach us. We'd love to be able to talk to you. We appreciate, we've been seeing a lot of spike in our podcast attendance. So please
that's
spread
awesome.
the word.
Hope you guys are enjoying.
Yeah, we're not here to pitch, any particular strategy. We just want to be able to help people. And if you're looking for that type of help, give us a shout. How do they get a hold of you, Cass?
Guys, give me a call, 772-247-4488. You can always shoot me an email. It is Cassie, CASSIE at motive8advisors.com.
Well, all right. Check out the website as well, www.motivateadvisors.com or
motivateinvestments.com.
There she blows. Appreciate y'all for jumping on. This has been Motivate Advisors.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You motivate you.
Oh, we got a little background. She was really good. She didn't bark the whole entire time.
No, that's the other one.
Oh, she's outside.
Yeah, we got two of them here.
Thanks, guys.
Take care of yourself. Thank you for helping people.
Week.
We'll talk to y'all soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.